Patrick Hennessy 510 asks, did you watch MythBusters when it was being made, or was it enough just making it? It's funny. After about a year, I remember a friend of mine calling me up going, man, I'd love to watch your show, but I don't have cable. Hey, you should have a viewing party every week. You should just have a viewing party for the show in your house. And there was a pause, and I was like, Dave, I want you to consider just how weird that actually would be to execute. Like, hey, come to my house every week and we can watch my TV show. Not that that's not a terrible idea, but it wasn't the way I wanted to engage with my friends about the television show that I had. We did watch the episodes. We watched every episode as a crew once we got the near final rough cut from Australia. So we would sit and watch the cuts as an entire crew and make notes about stuff that we thought could be better, jokes that they'd messed up, or things that we knew we needed to reshoot. So on that front, I've probably seen 90% of the MythBusters episodes. As far as seeing them when they aired, in the first few seasons of the show, we would also, I think, once or twice per season we would frequent a bar in the Potrero Hill called the Connecticut Yankee. And we would have a viewing party there, often for the season premiere and maybe the season finales of MythBusters in the early days. From 2003, when it started to air, all the way to about 2011, the ratings just got better and better and better and better. And so we were really excited about that. We were excited to be a phenomenon and to sort of buck the odds, as it were, of how long we were a growing concern. And in that, the crew found a lot of camaraderie with viewing the season premieres and the season finales together. I know some of you are plausibly wondering whether you're wondering if you get over how awful it is to watch yourself on camera. And I love talking about this. You do get over it. It takes a while. It was just as awful for me to hear my own voice the first time I recorded it. It was just as awful for me to watch myself on camera the first time I was cutting a demo reel with Jamie. But there is a shift that happens where you finally find, I'm always talking in this abstract, where I finally found a separation between the character and me. And there's very little separation, but there is a separation. And I mean, maybe the separation is only that I can assess my intended affect after the fact without the noise of being like, oh man, I can't stand to hear my voice, see myself move, etc. Somebody else asked if my kids watched the show, and the answer is no. Occasionally when I was away, when they were younger, they would turn on the show because they missed me. My wife and the kids watched the show a few times that way, but this is really early on when they're like 6, 7, 8 years old. The same person asked if they enjoyed being my kid, and the answer is, how great was it for you to be unique in middle school? My kids learned early on to really hold on to that knowledge and not reveal it. My son thing too, I think he was 8 months into 8th grade at Oakland School for the Arts before they figured out who his dad was. And I remember going to pick up one kid at summer camp, and I showed up at the door, and the teacher like blanched to see me, and my son was like, oh, criminy. Yeah. When you are, look, the answer is, I am just another dad. The real answer is I'm just another dad. My kids will have to recover from me as I have to recover from my dad and parents, as all of us have to recover from our parents. And that's not saying that there's like bad things that happen. It's just that when we grow into adulthood, there's ways in which we learn to shed our parents and to understand that we are alone and we are ourselves. And so in that regard, there was nothing special about them being MythBusters kids. All right, let's see here. Slug, SLHUCK. Hello. They said there's a scene in season 2 of MythBusters is a prop in the background that looks like a man being tortured. What was that from? What was that a good idea? It terrified my young children. Sorry about that. That was a figure of a dude from the movie Jade, starring Linda Fiorentino and David Caruso. David Caruso was the star of NYPD Blue and left to go become a movie star. And this was the very first movie I think he made called Jade. And in it, Linda Fiorentino plays a wanton serial killer. And the first guy she kills is this rich guy who is like trussed up on a bed, and there's like slashes through his body. It's absolutely horrifying. This prop was built by Chris Walas Enterprises, CWI. Chris Walas is the guy that did all of the Naked Lunch props, Arachnophobia, really important effects shop up here in Northern California. He directed The Fly 2. And Jamie worked for Chris. Jamie worked for that shop for a few years. He did spider mechanics for Arachnophobia. He did the Clark Nova typewriter mechanics for Naked Lunch. And wait a second, where were we with this? Oh, right. So they built this prop of this dude in Northern California, but the scene in the movie is shot down in Beverly Hills. This prop is big. It's like it's not just a 6-foot guy. It's a 6-foot guy whose arms are trussed up above his head. So he's like 8 feet long. You can't put it in a minivan. So they put it in the back of a flatbed truck and drove it down to Beverly Hills. I know this because my friend Carol Bauman was driving the truck. And she didn't think anything of it until she is nearing Beverly Hills and she starts seeing how many police helicopters there are in the sky above Los Angeles when she's driving there. So here she is crawling up through the windy roads of Beverly Hills in Los Angeles, and in the back of her open flatbed is a naked man sliced to ribbons, completely visible. She's waiting for like the SWAT team to come. Why was that in the background? Because it greatly pleased Jamie Hyneman. He thought that typified his subversive sense of humor. And Jamie's sense of humor is absolutely subversive. He loves the idea of humor that puts you on your back feet. Yeah. And it's not to say he has a mean streak, because he really doesn't. Jamie's a very empathetic human being. Yeah, that typifies exactly what he thinks is really funny, is that guy in the background. And like, they wanted us to cover him up, so he took some leaves and put him over the genitals. Like, that would help. I'm sorry that it terrified young children, SL Huck. But yeah, therein lies why that guy was there.
Thank you for watching that video. Are you as sick of the tosses to membership as I am? Good, because here's a brand new one that I recorded today, and it's nice and short. There are 3 tiers to Tested membership, and they all offer awesome stuff. Find out about it by clicking the join link below. We'll see you there.